the Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. This evening's Cavalcade of America takes us to sea for a story of lighthouses and lightships, manned by courageous people who are truly sentinels of the deep. It was not so long ago that chemistry, like the sea in centuries past, was uncharted, unfamiliar to man, and full of mystery. But today there are many beacons along the coastline of chemical discovery, due to the patient work of research chemists in the employ of companies such as DuPont. In DuPont laboratories alone, $6 million is spent yearly in chemical research. The spirit behind this work is well expressed by DuPont's pledge, better things for better living through chemistry. As an overture, Don Voorhees and his orchestra will play the fourth movement of the famous Scheherazade suite by Rimsky-Korsakov, which tells the story of Sinbad the sailor.
Today, 1,000 ships set their courses by the beacons of our lighthouses or the radio beams of our lightships. But over 200 years ago, it was a far different story. One stormy winter night in the year 1712, a British merchantman, leaky and battered after 3 months' voyage from England, is running before a wild nor'easter. Our captain and mate scan the dark waters and lowering sky for some glimmer of light from the town of Boston that they know lies somewhere in the murk ahead.
We'll be lucky if we ride the night, Captain. The helmsman reports her logy in the head and flighty as a woman to the wheel. What with her topsail carried away and the rigging half gone below.
Aye, Mr. Squires. But I like not this blow in the northeast. There's no ship to be standing off the land all night with shoals all around us.
Then you're of a mind to run her in, sir? Say the devil with reefs and bars and the like?
Aye, that I am, Mr. Squires. Fix the rising water in the hold and the ghost of a set of sails aloft. I've little chance left me.
Be like a drunken man playing at blind man's buff, sir.
Aye, but we must chance it. But no more of this beating the devil halfway. Go forward and set the boatswain to casting the lead. Poor as our charts of these waters be, we may yet feel our way to safety if we cannot have it shown to us.
Aye, sir. Pity it is these Boston folk have no beacon on the headlands to light us in.
All use wishing for what's not. Might as well be wishing for a moon this night. Oh, go forward. There's that tea merchant and his wife coming this way. That young lad of theirs. You'll be spared answering his questions.
Aye, sir. It's a likely lad he is and bright. Good evening to you, Mrs. Winton.
Good evening, Mr.
And you,
Squire.
Mr. Winton.
Good evening,
you, Master McDonald.
Good evening, Captain.
The bosun tells me we may yet see Boston town this night, Captain.
We may that if this wind holds off a bit.
Oh, what a blessing it'll be to set foot on dry land again after all these terrible weeks at sea.
And a new land. Don't forget that, my dear.
Do you think the Indians will come out in their canoes and try to keep us from landing, Captain?
Well, hardly that, Master Donald. Not in this year of 1712. You'll find Boston town quite a civilized place. Not like London, of course, but then...
Oh, they're casting the lead. May I go forward and watch, Father?
You'd best ask the captain's permission, Donald.
Best not, lad. The sea's rougher and you might be washed overboard.
I think we'd best all go below. It's getting much rougher. Besides, we have much packing to do if we're to leave the ship in the morning.
That's best, man. Should we sight the lights of the town, I'll send a man below to tell you. Till then, there'll be nothing you'll miss. Good night, ma'am.
Good night, Captain. There's no danger, you think?
There's always danger, but God willing, we'll be riding our anchor with the coming of the dawn.
Oh, you've no idea how cheering it is to hear you say those words. Good night, Captain.
Good night, ma'am.
You'll be sure to let me know when we sight America, won't you, Captain? I can hardly wait to see what it's like. We're going to live there, you know.
Yes, I will that, lad. And a fine new land you'll be having for a home.
Good night.
Good night, lad. And pray God you may see that new home of yours. Mr. Squires!
Aye, sir.
Call all hands on deck.
Bosun, fight the men from below.
Aye, sir. All hands on deck. Part two! Loose the mainsail! And the hull! Ice on Boston town! Off the starboard bow! She goes! Hard a port! The light should have shown the port! Aye, our reckonings have failed us. Breakers ahead! Hard over, helmsman! She's a lost ship, sir! Aye, and within sight of our goal!
Such was the fate of many a noble ship. No guiding beacons marked the safe harbors of our colonial seaboard. But it was not long before the citizens of Boston realized the need. And so in the year 1715, the first lighthouse of the Western world was constructed by the far-sighted fathers of the Massachusetts colony. And for over 200 years, the Boston Light has guided ships to the safety of Boston Harbor. One of the first acts of the Continental Congress was to create and maintain a national lighthouse service. The records are dotted with countless heroic deeds of men and women, tenders of those lights which must not fail. One such entry, on a record yellowed with age, tells of a lighthouse on a barren rock, isolated for months by treacherous ice floes and winter storms. The keeper, his wife and child, wait for the supply ship on a bitter, cold night.
Ma, hungry. Ain't there anything to eat?
No, David. The last scrap's gone. Now, don't you get out of bed. Stay under the covers and keep warm, honey. Besides, if you lie still, you won't feel the hunger so much.
It don't hurt so much as it did. How long's it been since we ate?
Well, it's been 3 days now. But you just try not to think about it, David. Try to go to sleep, son. And maybe when you wake up, the supply ship will be here.
I've been trying to sleep, but I've slept so much. Where's Pa?
He's outside, looking to see if maybe some gulls are roosting on the rock.
Golly, wouldn't it be great if he was to come in with a gull? You could make soup for all of us.
Well, I wouldn't figure on it, David. Ain't been a gull near that rock since the cold set in.
Golly, there's Pa now.
Now, stay in bed, David.
Did you... Gee, Pa, didn't you find one?
No. No, son, it's no use. Even if there'd been any gulls on the rock, I don't reckon they'd have waited for me to hit them with a pole.
You oughtn't to go out there as weak as you are, John.
Well, it's better than sitting here waiting for...
John, mind your tongue.
I was only going to say waiting for the supply ship. Thought I sighted her at sundown, but I reckon it was only a shadow of the clouds on the ice floes. Now with this storm blowing up...
Oh, we can't give up hope yet. This offshore wind may open up the ice and let it through to us in time. Is the light burning yet?
Yep. Clear and bright, thank heavens.
Well, what's the use, John? Why are we burning the last of the oil in the lamps when we might be keeping ourselves from freezing to death with it? What's the good of keeping the light burning to warn ships off the rock when no ship could get within miles of us if she tried?
There's never been a night since this lighthouse was built that captains couldn't set their course by her, and I'm not going to let it be said that I let her stand dark while there's a drop of oil in the tanks.
How much longer will the oil last, John?
Well, it's near dawn now. This night and another, maybe.
Ma, I'm hungry.
Yeah, be patient, lad. Maybe today.
Let him be. He's dropped off. He's just dreaming. Talking in his sleep. Oh, John. It tears my heart out to hear him. Do you think you can stand it much longer?
Yeah, I know. I blame myself when I think how I might have sent you both to the mainland for the winter.
Well, I wouldn't have gone, John. This is your job, and my place is here with you.
It's no place for a woman. No one to talk to months on end. And now this. No food. Nothing to keep warm with.
It's no fine place for a man either, John. But you know, you've been promised a transfer, and there's lots of fine lighthouses on the headlands up the coast. Places near a village where David could go to school.
Yes, I know. I've been promised a transfer. It's 3 years we've been on this rock now, and unless the supply ship gets through before long, we'll have small use for a new post.
Well, look, John. It's getting light. The weather's clearing to the east.
I hope you're right. Wait till I take a look short. Martha, look! The supply ship!
Oh, thank heavens. She's not a mile away, John.
David, wake up, son!
What is it, Pa?
It's the supply ship, David. It's coming. Oh, John, if you hadn't kept the light going, she wouldn't be here.
Such incidents of heroism and unsung devotion to duty are legion in the annals of the lighthouse service. The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, moves on. The lighthouses that dot our coasts are but a part of a larger service. And of all the men of the lighthouse service of today, those who take the greatest risks are the officers and crews of the lightships anchored in the open sea, marking dangerous shoals and often stationed in the very center of the steam plains. Ocean liners set their course dead on the lightship's guiding radio beam and then veer off as they approach. But when fog, the seaman's worst enemy, drops down, disaster to the lightship echoes with every throaty blast. The danger is ever present in the minds of the men who gather in the crew quarters of the Nantucket lightship. And for a rookie on his first tour of duty on the shoals of Nantucket, the ghostly cloak of fog is a terrifying thing.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah?
Lay out my hand, will you? I gotta go on deck.
Sure, Harry. I'm glad I ain't you. It's a dirty night out.
It's the worst we've had since we pulled out of New Bedford. Say, what day is it anyway?
What do you care? It's 3 weeks for you. You're up for shore leave.
Oh, I know, but I like to keep track of the days. It helps pass the time.
Well, there's a calendar on the bunk. May 15th.
Yeah, and it's 1934, in case you've lost track of the year. You're liable to do that out here, you know. I knew a guy once that did.
Come on. Let's get on with the game.
Yeah, beat it, Harry. Go up on deck and get your ration of fog. Yeah, you lucky blighters.
Say, Harry, blow a couple of kisses to the pretty girls in the big liner when she scrapes the paint off our port rail going past.
Let's hope she don't take the rail lifeboats and wireless the way one of them did back in January.
I'll bet you 2 to 1 she don't miss us by 100 feet in this fog.
You're on, Bill. We'll let Harry be the judge. $5 says she misses us by more than 100 feet.
Okay. She's pretty near due. Been bearing down on our radio direction beam for the last hour. Well, see you guys subsequently.
All right. Steal the cards and let's get going. Oh, I feel lucky tonight.
I never feel lucky with a fast ship using us for a bullseye in a fog like we got tonight.
Hey, Joe. What's the matter with the new kid over there? Homesick? Listen, you with the fiddle.
Hey, let him alone, Bill. It's his first time out.
All right. Hey, kid, how about something with a little life to it?
Sure. What would you like me to play, fellas?
Well, anything but asleep in the deep.
All right, how's this?
That's better.
Say, do those big liners really pass us so close?
They sure do, kid. Too close for comfort sometimes. Lightships can't dodge, you know, saying they're anchored in one spot.
You ought to have been with us last January when we got sideswiped on a foggy night like this. Lucky for us, she just scraped a couple of feet more to starboard, and good night.
Yeah, as it was, she didn't leave much. Carried away our rail, lifeboats, and wireless.
Gosh. Say, what would happen to us if she didn't veer off quick enough? Suppose she didn't know how close she was.
That's the chance we take every time there's a fog, son.
Gee. Oh, ain't you never nervous?
Yeah, at first. I know how you're feeling, kid. It does sort of get you in the pit of the stomach to hear one of them big babies' whistles getting closer and closer. You can't see her, and she can't see you for the fog. You go up on deck to watch for her, and then all of a sudden you see her coming right at you out of the fog. You think she couldn't miss. And then she'll swing over and go hooting past so close you can reach up and touch her sometimes.
Yeah, kid, if you want your hair curled, just go up on deck and take a gander at this one. She'll be moving plenty fast.
Golly, I think maybe I will go on deck. I don't see how you fellas can stay down here playing cards. Suppose she was to hit us. You wouldn't have much chance down here.
If she was to hit us fair and square, you wouldn't have much chance anywhere, son.
She'd knife us in half like this old lightship was a piece of cheese.
Well, how soon will she get here?
Most any time now. Open the door to the wireless room and ask Sparks. He's been inviting her to smack us for the last hour.
Nice guy, Sparks. He throws him a radio direction beam, and they point right on it. And we're it.
Yeah. Ain't science wonderful?
You reckon Sparks will mind if I ask him?
No, go on in. He's a good guy. Even if he does pass out invitations to every tub in the ocean to come take a crack at us. All in a day's work.
Say, Sparks.
Oh, hello, kid.
Hello. Nantucket. Calling Nantucket Lightship.
Just a second, kid.
Okay.
Hello? Nantucket Lightship speaking. Go ahead.
We're pretty close to you on Nantucket. The old man's off reduced speed. About 12 knots, I'd say.
Don't mind us. We only work here.
We're dropping the beam.
I hear you. Sounds like you're about a quarter of a mile away. Hold it. The old man wants me.
Hello? Hello?
Radio room, sir.
Inform captain of the liner is bearing down on us. Just sighted her through the fog. Get on.
Yes, sir. Hello. Hello. Inform bridge.
Fox, quick! They're almost on us!
You're on us! Inform captain!
And so, on that foggy night of May 15th, 1934, the Nantucket Lightship ended her years of faithful duty at one of the most dangerous posts in the lightship service. But hardly an hour after the liner's wireless crackled out the fateful news of the disaster, there was a scene of feverish activity on a fog-shrouded wharf at New Bedford. Another Nantucket Lightship was being fueled and manned to take the place of her doomed predecessor. The Nantucket Shoals, graveyard of ships, had to be marked. Another lightship, more men were going out to that dangerous post.
All right, men, stand by.
Oh, Jack, don't go. I can't stand it. Brother was on the old Nantucket. They haven't found him. Don't go and leave me like this, Jack.
Oh, now, Sally, take it easy. I know it's tough about the kid, especially on his first trip, but it's my job. I've got to go.
Oh, Jack, look at the fog. Oh, you can't see a thing. It's awful. Suppose something should happen to you, too. Oh, what would I do?
You've never felt like this before, Sally? Well, you'll be all right. It's just the kid's going so sudden like. You don't have to worry about me. Whoever heard of lightning striking twice in the same place anyhow? Ah, now, come on, Sal. Buck up. Give a fella a kiss. I gotta go aboard.
I'm sorry, Jack. I know I oughtn't to be acting this way. And worrying you when you get a job to do. It's only that I can't help thinking about Brother. He was just a kid.
Yeah. Just walking right into your old man's shoes, Sally. You know, Pa always wanted the kid to go into the lighthouse service.
Yes, I know. I know. Jack, you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me you'll stay on deck on foggy nights.
Oh, it's no use, Sally. When your number's up, you'll get yours no matter where you are. That's what I always say.
Hey, Jack.
Huh?
The Ghost Guard tug just came in from the wreck of the lightship. They're docked down below. They've got some in.
Yeah?
Oh, Jack, I wonder if Brother...
Now, steady, Sal, steady. We'll know if they found him. They're coming this way now.
Jack, look! It can't be, but it looks just like him.
Jack! Glory be, it is, Sal. It is. It's the kid. Hey, kid, right over here.
Hi, Jack. Hello, sis.
Oh, we thought we'd never see you again.
No, I came through without a scratch. Got pretty wet and most froze before they pulled me out of the water, but that's all.
Say, kid, did you see any of the others while you were swimming around?
Yeah, Sparks. Him and me held on to a spar, and Bill and Harry came through, too, but they're in a bad way.
Come on home, Brother. You must be cold and hungry.
Yeah, kid. Say, you had a narrow squeak and a tough time. Go on. Go on home. Get yourself some sleep.
No. Nothing doing, Jack. I'm going to see Skipper Wagner. I'm going back with you.
Why, you're not going out again. Not right away.
Sure, sis. Why not? They must be short-handed on the relief ship. Skipper needs me, don't he, Jack?
Well, yeah. I reckon he could use you if you feel up to going, kid.
All right, men, come aboard.
Well, so long, sis. Come on, Jack.
Goodbye, Sally.
What are we waiting for?
All hands aboard. Let's go.
Goodbye, Brother. Goodbye, Jack. Goodbye. And good luck. Goodbye.
It has been said that as long as there are ships, men will go down to the sea and women will wait. And this was never more true than in the lighthouse service. One ship is lost, another goes out to take its place. Day and night, winter and summer, in storm and calm, the lightships strain at their heavy anchors in order that the passengers on our modern luxury liners may travel in safety. And so, to the courageous men of the United States Lighthouse Service, and to the stalwart women who help their men tend the headland lights, or send their husbands and sons and brothers to the lightships far at sea, the Cavalcade of America salutes you.
Our story of chemistry this evening deals with color, and that subject is especially appropriate right now when the gorgeous reds and golds of autumn delight the eye on every side. Life would be much less interesting if it were not for the attractive colors in our home decorations, clothing, and countless things that surround us. Yet did you ever stop to think that our modern world is the colorful place it is largely because of chemistry? Chemists have tapped nature for hidden sources of color and have produced from such unlikely-looking raw material as coal tar a veritable chemical rainbow of colors. Once only kings and such could own colorful garments. But today nearly everyone can have a bright array of clothes and other things without ever thinking of the few pennies that it costs to dye them. And women of today appreciate what it means to have dyes that are fast to light and fast to washing. It wasn't so long ago that one could never be sure how a piece of colored clothing would come back from its first trip to the wash. In recent years, however, chemists have developed dyes of every hue and tint that will not fade under the most severe conditions. Today, one may purchase garments and all sorts of fabrics with every assurance that the color will last as long as the material. The DuPont Company has been privileged to play a leading part in these contributions to America's progress. It pioneered in the development of a dye-stuffs industry in the United States, thus helping to make this country independent of foreign sources for dyes and many other related products that are essential to modern living. Basing its faith on the ability of its research chemists to answer America's demands for dyes, the DuPont Company invested more than $40 million and carried on its work for more than 5 years before the dye-stuffs venture returned a cent of profit. Thus, adequate financial resources, coupled with knowledge and foresight, eventually made possible this outstanding contribution, which so aptly illustrates the DuPont phrase, better things for better living through chemistry. Next week at this same time, our story will be about John Winthrop, the pioneer American chemist, when DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. The DuPont Cavalcade of America wants to remind its listeners of the 1937 annual Red Cross roll call. There is no need to remind you of the worthwhile work this organization has done and is doing the world over. If you have not already joined, we know you will want to send your membership subscription to your local Red Cross chapter as soon as possible. This evening, the DuPont Cavalcade tells the story of one of the greatest natural botanists that ever lived, John Bartram. Bartram collected, cultivated, and crossbred plants and flowers, not merely for ornamental purposes, but to increase their usefulness to mankind. In his garden were many plants used for medicine and chemical purposes. Today, many plants and flowers are used by the chemical industry as materials for study and research. John Bartram can be compared with the research chemist who works for the comforts and conveniences of his day and age. This method of improving existing conditions in many fields is aptly expressed in the DuPont pledge, better things for better living through chemistry. As an overture, Don Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra play Cole Porter's melodic Old-Fashioned Garden. gallant cavalcade moves forward. John Bartram was born of Quaker stock in 1699 in the township of Darby, about 6 miles south of Philadelphia. By the time he was 24, he had a farm on the banks of the Schuylkill River, which was given to him by his bachelor Uncle Isaac. Shortly afterwards, he married a girl named Mary Morris. One day we find him plowing in a field as his wife approaches.
Go on there. Go on.
John!
Oh, boy. Oh. Well, Mary, what does thee out here in the fields?
It's such a lovely summer's day, John. I thought I'd bring thy lunch out and join thee.
Now, that was a kindly thought. It will be pleasant in the shade of the oak yonder. Come. Oh, boy. Oh.
How pretty the fields look. All white daisies. See that sod half tilted where your plow turned it? Why, it looks like a bonnet.
When did thee ever see a bonnet with flowers on it? Not at friends' meetings, surely.
No. And I'm glad we don't put them on our heads. They'd be out of sight of our eyes.
Look, Mary, how these flowers are made. Seems to be a regular scheme to them. As careful and exact as a snow crystal.
Why, I see nothing but white petals and a yellow center. They're all alike.
No, not really. If they'll look at the center, they'll see it is not all alike. There's a division among these close-packed yellow quills. I wonder what they're for.
Well, it makes small difference, since neither we nor the cattle can eat them.
It seems strange. I've turned up so many millions of them and never before even thought to look at one. Mary, I'd like to know something about these flowers and vegetables and herbs that grow all around us.
Well, how could we do that? There's no time for learning things with all the farm work on thy shoulders.
I'll make time for it, Mary. I must know about these things.
John Bartram had been self-taught. He could read and write and figure, but he had little book learning, as it was called in those days. For the next opportunity he has to leave his farm work, he goes into the city of Philadelphia and enters the bookstore of a pen.
Mr. Campbell. Oh, Mr. Campbell.
Aye, coming. Ah, Mr. Bartram. I'm glad to see you in town. What can I do for you?
I want a book that'll tell me all about flowers.
You mean the vegetables and grains?
No, I mean flowers and trees and shrubs and medicinal herbs. I want to know all about them.
I've heard you're a good farmer, but I had no idea you're interested in botany.
Is that what they call it?
Aye.
Well, what's the best botany book?
There aren't many, good or bad. But here's one I've recently got over from the old country. It's the latest, though whether it's good or not, I don't know.
Can I see it?
Here you are. You'll notice it's by a young man by the name of Linnaeus. He's living in Leiden, Holland.
Well, the book's in Latin.
Aye. All books of science are written in Latin.
I don't know Latin. Isn't there one in English?
A few of the more popular scientific books are translated into the vulgar tongue, but this one is too new for that as yet. I'm afraid if you don't know Latin, you won't know botany.
Then I'll learn Latin. You've got a good book for that.
Aye. Aye, here is a good Latin grammar.
It's a hard stepping stone to the knowledge I want.
It does seem strange. We must learn Latin to know the little flowers that grow under our very feet.
Well, I've taught myself what I know now. I'll teach myself more. If other men can master Latin, so can I.
With the help of a schoolteacher, Bartram learned enough Latin in 3 months to read the scientific revelations of Linnaeus of Leiden. It made a profound impression on him, and he determined to let nothing stop him in the compilation of a complete record with description and samples of all the vegetable life of America. One evening he comes home late for dinner and is greeted by his wife.
Mary.
Well, John, where's he been? It's late.
Mary, I have great news. We've a fine new parcel of land.
More land? Where?
I just bought it at the sheriff's sale. 5 acres of it. Oh, it's a fair site on the Schuylkill. It'll need some draining down by the water, but the upper land is dry. Too dry, in fact. We must manage to get some water up to it somehow.
John Bartram, has he taken leave of thy senses? He can't even farm all the land he has.
I'm not going to farm this land.
Then what's it to be?
A garden.
A garden? For the kitchen?
No, just for flowers. Some of it will be for medicinal herbs, but most of it just for fine trees and flowers.
I think they must be daft indeed. Trees and flowers grow everywhere.
I know, Mary. But the joy will be to see them grow not everywhere, but all in one garden. Trees and shrubs and flowers from all over the colonies, from England even, and Holland. Oh, it'll be a rare sight. And new things will come of it. You wait and see.
But trees don't grow overnight. It will take a long time to have thy garden.
We're young. We'll see a lot of it bloom. But even if we don't, there's no harm in leaving good work to live after us when we're gone.
And that's a long time to wait.
That's one thing we've no time for. Waiting. I'll begin to plant our new garden tomorrow.
The fine stone house, which still stands in the park, which was Bartram's original garden, was begun by Bartram's own hands. He used to work on it sometimes by moonlight, after the necessary farm work was done. In 1707, his wife Mary died. Undaunted, Bartram went on with his work, for he had 2 little sons, John Jr. and William, to provide for. When part of the house was finished and the nucleus of his garden planned, Bartram found he had a house and a family without a home. In 1729, he married Anne Mendenhall of Concord Monthly Meeting in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. One day, about 4 years later, she comes looking for him in his garden.
John, where is he?
Save thy voice, Anne. I'm right here behind these bushes.
Oh, the garden's getting so full of things. It's like a jungle.
What brings thee here?
A letter from England.
From Peter Collinson?
Yes.
Let me have it.
Here it is.
Oh, I hope. If only everything... Anne, you got the shipment I sent in?
And everything in good condition?
Wait. No. Only what I had in the cedar box and some of the pressings.
But, John, who would steal such things from thee?
Rats, my dear, and insects. He writes me to try again with the route. And next time to ask the captain of the vessel to put the box under his own berth.
And I thought all would be well if the box escaped water soaking.
There are many vexations between here and Europe, my dear. There's more than water keeps us apart. Look here what he writes. He sent a copy of my letter and some of my cuttings to Linnaeus. Linnaeus, the great botanist at Leiden. Isn't that wonderful?
The correspondence between Bartram and Peter Collinson, the wool merchant of London, continued for 35 years. Collinson saw a great opportunity for people in Europe to learn about the plant life of the American wilderness. Botanists and naturalists in England, Sweden, and Holland received many shipments from Bartram and sent him samples of rare things in exchange. Bartram's estate grew in size. His fortunes increased moderately. He was busy and happy. And on each New Year's Day, he kept open house. The festivity that ushers in the year 1751 is one of the best.
I'll pass the punch, Harvey.
Yes, Missy.
Have you seen Mr. Bartram?
We're here on the hall telling some folks howdy.
Has Mr. Franklin arrived yet?
No, Ma's been in through this week.
Oh.
Yes, there he is, talking to Ma's John. I get his coat and hat.
Well, let me have a glass of punch for him. He must be cold after his ride out from town.
Yes.
Mr. Franklin,
Welcome and a happy new year.
Thank you, Mrs. Bartram, and a long and happy life to you.
Thank you. You must be cold. Let me offer you a cup of punch.
I'll accept the cup from your hands with honor.
He's a courtier to his fingers, but he takes no more punch than I do. Still, on a cold New Year.
You know I try to be temperate. Is it strong?
Oh, indeed, no. We make it from our own fruit.
I use good cider for a base.
And you press it well, both in the making and on me.
Mr.
Bartram, I'll drink a toast to you. I'll drink to your amazing capacity for work.
Thank you. And I'll drink to your thoughts on all men's work.
Work? John is more like a gypsy.
Well, ma'am, I never could understand how he could keep so long away from home.
From home? Why, I'm home the whole winter long.
And all spring he's on horseback collecting blossoms in the Alleghenies. Last summer it was shrubs in the Catskills. And last fall he went all over Virginia gathering seeds.
Well, I have a seed that needs sowing, friend Bartram.
Indeed? Give me the name of it. But I hope it has an English name.
Well, I'll look after our other guests while you two gossip.
All right, my dear. Come into the library, Mr. Franklin. It'll be quieter in there.
You don't mind a moment of serious talk on such a happy day?
I'm happy to hear you talk no matter what it's about. Sit down, Mr. Franklin. Sit down.
Thank you. Some years ago, we spoke of the need of an organization to encourage the arts and sciences in the colony.
Oh, yes. The American Philosophical Society. I remember it very well. We drew up a draft of it about 7 years ago, with your name at the head of it.
Ah, that was at your insistence.
Well, you placed mine next.
Our minds are good neighbors.
It's too bad that society didn't come to life.
It will in time.
I'm afraid we were a little ahead of the season with it.
Yes. It was nipped by a frost of inertia. But we'll have it yet. But one thing we are sure to have, because I can control that action. It is a standard book on medicine.
I've always been interested in the study of medicine. The plants of America have many amazing medicinal properties.
No one knows them better than you.
Whose book are you going to publish?
It's Medicine Botanica by Thomas Short. And I want you to write an appendix for it on American medicinal plants.
I'm afraid I don't write very well. My spelling is full of invention.
Well, many can spell and write, too, and still say nothing.
Whatever I know is at your disposal.
Thank you. Now I am assured the book will be useful to the whole world.
You're prejudiced, my friend. Americans may have heard of me because I've dropped in on them in person from Nova Scotia to Florida. But the world is a larger place. Except for Collinson and a few others, I'm a stranger abroad.
That isn't what Linnaeus gave me to believe.
Linnaeus? Ah, there's a botanist. Some found fault with him at first because of the way he arranges species and genera. But year by year, they find him right. He's the most learned and brilliant botanist of them all.
He has even higher praise for you.
Linnaeus?
Yes.
Oh, I've sent him hundreds of samples for many years. But he knows nothing of me except through what I send him.
Then it is true that a man is known by his works. For Linnaeus says you are the greatest natural botanist in the world.
In 1765, Bartram, through the interest of such influential English friends as Collinson, Lord Petre, and others, was appointed the King's botanist. This honor included an annual salary of £50, which helped him to finance his important work of collecting specimens and cultivating hybrids. For the purpose of getting seeds, Bartram took long, exhausting trips alone on horseback every autumn. One year, his route takes him through Virginia, and in due course, Bartram reaches the Rappahannock at Fredericksburg, where two men have arrived before him and are waiting to cross by the lower ferry.
Whoa. Whoa. Hello. Hello. Ferryman. Well, the fellow must be deaf.
Or sound asleep. Yet, Lewis, your bellow ought to wake the dead.
Oh, this is provoking. If he had to fall asleep, why didn't he choose our side of the river?
Your pardon, gentlemen. But do I understand there is no way to raise the ferryman?
Well, we certainly can't reach over and
tap him on the shoulder.
Well, I'm not so sure of that. A dozen years ago, you could throw a stone that far, George, and did it often right here at this very spot.
Well, I could try it. If a stone hit against his barge or near him, it might startle him. Here, hold my horse, Lou.
Glad to. Here's a good round stone, George.
No, I'd rather have one that's flatter. Yeah, like this one. Yeah. Perhaps this one. Yeah, but I'm afraid I might hit the rest.
I hope you do.
Well, I'll aim not to. Now, stand clear, Lou. I'll need a space of ground for this.
You look like a human catapult, as if you could throw across the Appalachians.
Well, here she flies.
Right to the mark. Right to flagging next his foot. That startled him. Now he'll hear me.
There's no need to call, Lou. He sees us now. Here he comes.
Well, I guess, George, you're still as young as you feel.
My friend, that was a truly amazing throw. I doubt if the average man could throw half that far.
Oh, it's just a trick I've had since I was a boy, sir.
I would take pleasure in knowing a man who can throw like that.
George Washington is my name. And this is my good friend Lewis Willis.
Colonel Washington. Well, this is a great honor. I'm glad to meet both you gentlemen. My name is Bartram. John Bartram.
The botanist?
Why, yes.
Why, I've heard about you many times, sir. I have a plantation on the Potomac. Do you go far on your journey?
This time, I'm going down the Rappahannock a ways and then cut across country to Williamsburg. From there, I'll go up the James River to the mountains.
But that's a long trip, sir. I doubt you can accomplish it before snow gets bad in the Appalachians.
I don't loiter much on the way, sir.
Well, I should say not. I've heard, George, that Mr. Bartram made one trip on horseback from the Catskills through the Alleghenies and into Virginia to Williamsburg, a distance of 1,100 miles in only 5 weeks. Is that true, sir?
Yes, that is true.
You gentlemen want to cross?
Yes, you lazy rascal.
Yes, sir. Well, wait till I get her up to the shore. There we are. Please stand at your horse's head, gentlemen, when you get them on board.
Yes, we know.
Come on, boy. Come on. Easy, steady now. Steady.
Come on.
I wonder if you realize, Lou, the tremendous significance of Mr. Bartram's botanical expedition, not only in developing natural beauty, but also as a contribution to our agricultural progress. The fruits of his labor will return regularly and as beautifully as the spring.
Bartram's devotion to his work was matched only by his tremendous energy and endurance. He collected seeds and plants needed in Europe and exchanged them for species which were sent to him and introduced by him into this country. Even at the age of 66, he explored the St. John River in Florida to its source. In 1777, his life work ended, but the results lived on after he was gone. And as the colonies he had known became states, their capital was the city of Philadelphia, so near to his beloved garden. Bartram's garden became a favorite haunt of the patriots who molded this country's history. Thomas Jefferson, who lived just across the river, often used to come there with aged Franklin to discuss the future of the country. One day in 1794, after the federal government had been inaugurated, President Washington and Alexander Hamilton are showing Bartram's garden to the renowned French patriot visiting the United States, Count Talleyrand.
Now, this is the dark avenue, Count Talleyrand. And beyond, there's a grove of hybrids created by Bartram.
It is beautiful, Your Excellency. I am continually amazed at the state of luxury, science, and civilization I find here to know a country. A great work has been done here.
It has only been begun, sir. And there's one place I like above all others. A bench under an Aeschylus parvia entwined with a luxuriant Tacoma.
Well, by such a name, it must be wonderful to see.
It is, Hamilton. And it's right at hand. Will you sit here, Count?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Aeschylus parvia, But, why, this is only an Ohio buckeye with a trumpet creeper vine on it.
But isn't it beautiful?
Beautiful, yes. But what practical use, what scientific purpose is served by all this beauty? What does it prove?
Well, aside from its value as a museum of living plants, let me offer you evidence.
This pear from Lord Petrie's pear tree.
Oh, thank you, Excellency.
You'll find it delicious, and you'll find an increasing number of pears like it in the future.
I see. It has been used to improve the strain of pears all through the colonies, eh?
Yes, all through the state.
Oh, pardon, the habit is one.
We all do that yet at times.
Think of the patience of a man like Bartram, knowing all the time that he couldn't possibly live long enough to see the full fruition of his labors.
That would not be a career suitable to an impetuous man like our Secretary of the Treasury. But the world has need of both such men, and our countrymen will enjoy the fruits of Bartram's labor.
Even as we eat and enjoy these pears.
Exactly. When you are refreshed, Count, we must see the herb garden. Bartram has given us a greatly improved strain of medicinal herbs. There's a strange chemistry in flowers that gives us many useful things.
When you put it that way, Mr. President, Bartram's work assumes great importance.
Perhaps Bartram's garden here was not for him alone. Not even for us, but for the future.
Yes. The seeds planted here will bear fruit for future generations throughout our land, until Bartram's garden becomes all America.
Bartram's garden was not merely for beauty, but for usefulness to succeeding generations. Poppy, foxglove, coca, ipecac, glucose, nux vomica, cinchona, and saccharose were among the species represented. Today, the chemistry of flowers is supplying industry with a new source of raw materials. DuPont salutes John Bartram, pioneer botanist, as a leader in the Cavalcade of America.
Speaking of growing plants, here's news from the South. Dispatches from the southern states say that the cotton crop is probably the largest ever grown. With picking practically completed, estimates indicate a bumper yield of more than 18 million bales. And thanks principally to research chemistry, that cotton will reach the public in more than 10,000 different forms. In developing such a great variety of new uses for cotton, chemists have created countless new products that serve nearly everyone every day. And by so doing, chemistry has opened entirely new markets for the cotton farmer's crop. The DuPont Company is one of the cotton growers' good customers. DuPont used 12.5 million pounds of cotton in textile form last year. Fabricoid-coated fabric, produced in a wide variety of colors and surface effects for bookbinding, upholstery, luggage covering, and women's handbags, is virtually an all-cotton product, for it is created by coating a cotton textile base with a cellulose solution made from cotton. Tontine washable window shade material also comes from the cotton field via the chemical laboratory. Cotton seeds, which not so long ago were regarded as a nuisance, supply materials used by DuPont in producing such important products as paints and industrial explosives. And until recent years, no use was known for cotton linters, the short fibers or fuzz left clinging to the seed after the long staple cotton is removed. Now, DuPont chemists transform cotton linters into products such as rayon yarn and Duco finish for your car. And cotton linters provide a raw material for Parylene plastic, used today in making articles ranging from toothbrush handles and scuffless heels to safety glass. Safety X-ray film and photographic film are other uses, and even some of the enamels with which women tint their fingernails are of cotton origin. Yes, chemistry has done remarkable things with this snowy white fiber from our Southland. And new products made from cotton are still coming from the test tube, bringing with them new industries and new jobs. 9 DuPont plants, located in various parts of the country, employ 7,000 people in making products that can trace their ancestry to some southern cotton field. In this story of cotton and the many ways chemistry has found to put it to work for you, we see one more example of what the DuPont Company means by its pledge: better things for better living through chemistry. At the request of a large number of our listeners, we have decided to repeat one of last year's most popular Cavalcade of America broadcasts. The Seeing Eye, the story of how dogs are trained to help the blind at the Seeing Eye headquarters in Morristown, New Jersey, will therefore be the subject of our broadcast when next week at the same time, DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.